Today's video is on the F3F-2 Flying Barrel. The highly maneuverable Grumman F3F served as the Navy and Marine Corps' premier and last biplane fighter of the late 1930s. Used by both the Navy and Marine Corps, the stubby fighter served from 1936 to 1941. When the Navy moved to monoplanes in the mid-1930s, the highly maneuverable F3F-2 and 3s became the last carrier-based biplanes to serve with the United States. More maneuverable than a monoplane, the biplane fighter was prized as a dogfighter, but drag prevented it from attaining the high speeds desired for modern warfare. Was introduced in 1935 as a follow-on to the F2F-1. The F2F-1 was powered by the R-1535-84 twin wasp engine with a longer fuselage and greater wingspan. F3F-1 offered improved aerodynamics, especially related to spin recovery and a larger cockpit. By August 1936, 54 of the new F3F-1s had been delivered, going to fighter squadron aboard the USS Ranger and the USS Saratoga. The two squadrons, eventually renamed VF-4 and VF-3 respectively, retained their three F3F-1s until 1940. In 1936, the first XF3F-2 aircraft that's in game prototype was ordered by the Navy and tested in 1937. The F3F was much easier to handle and more maneuverable than its predecessor. However, during flight testing, an airplane crashed, killing test pilot Jimmy Collins on March 20, 1935. Collins was performing a series of 10 test dives to test the limits of the aircraft. While the first 9 dives were completed successfully, on the 10th dive from 18,000 feet, the wings and engines separated from the aircraft, putting the fuselage into a flat spin. An accelerometer had recorded that the Collins had pulled 14 Gs during the dive. Definitely something you have to watch out for in game also. A second prototype also crashed on May 17, 1935, after the test pilot Lee Glenbach put the airplane into a 10-turn right-hand spin at the U.S. Naval Air Station at Anacostia. However, Glenbach was able to bail out in time. The third prototype was ordered June 20, 1935, being built from undamaged components from its predecessors. With modifications to overcome problems encountered during the spins, new trials began July 10, 1935, and the test flights went well enough for the aircraft to put into production. One XF3F-2 was followed by 81 production aircraft, making the F3F-2 was the most satisfactory single-engine fighter developed for the Navy to date. The model served with the USS Enterprise and the United States Marine Corps squadrons VMF-1 and VMF-2. With the introduction of the Brewster, the F2A-1, the Navy's biplane days were numbered. All F3Fs were withdrawn from squadron service by the end of 1941. Though 117 were assigned to naval bases, mainly NAS Miami and NAS Corpus Christi, and used for training and utility duties until December 1943. While on hand at the start of World War II, the F3F did not see combat. It was removed in 1941 from frontline service prior to the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor on December of that year. The F3F-2 was powered with a 950 Wright Cyclone 1820-22 9-cylinder single-row radial engine, resulting in an increased diameter of the engine cowling compared to the F3F-1. The Wright Cyclone R1820 was a 9-cylinder single-row air-cooled radial engine. Horsepower ranged from 700 to 1500 depending on models and configuration. The Wright Cyclone R1820 engines were produced from 1931 until well into the 1950s by several companies under licenses that included Studebaker, Lycoming, Pratt & Whitney. It was also built in the Soviet Union as the M25 and in Spain as the Hispano-Suiza 9V. It powered a range of aircraft that include the B-17 Flying Fortress, the Grumman J-2F Duck, the Curtiss P-36, and the Douglas SBD Dauntless. The Wright RD-1820 was even converted into a diesel during World War II by Caterpillar as the D200 and produced 450 horsepower at 2,000 RPM in the M4A6 Sherman tank. Standard armament fitted to the F3F consisted of a single 30 caliber, also known as a 30-06, Browning M1919 machine gun in the engine cowling right side, a 50 caliber Browning M2 heavy machine gun in the engine cowling right side. We all know the good old Ma Deuce. I only had one of them though. The F3F also had 2 hardpoints able to haul 2 116-pound conventional drop bombs into combats. Quite lackluster armament in game and in real life. So this plane is one of the first planes you'll get in the American tree, and honestly, it's not that great of a plane. It's fun to fly, it's maneuverable, its armament is horrible, but you can outturn 109s, you can outturn a lot of aircraft, but good luck trying to shoot something down with a single 30 caliber and a single Ma Deuce. Still, it is a fun plane to fly, and I quite enjoy it. I think you will too. Till next time, later.